Pink Shirt Day. When I tweeted this morning and then headed for the closet to find my pink shirt, I couldn't find my pink shirt, so I put on a pink tie. So to acknowledge that day, I think that's a very important thing to acknowledge, and you're acknowledging it more than anybody. So congratulations. Sorry? Doing it for the team. Really appreciate that. Madam Clerk, any changes to the agenda?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, there are 4 added communications. 5-7 from the Lakewood Beach Community Council respecting 560 Gray Road, which is part of the confidential report tonight. And 5-8 through 10 is from the Integrity Commissioner to be received. We have also recirculated the Board of Health report. There was an inadvertent missing of the recommendation in that report, so it has been recirculated. And there was a notice of motion from Councilor Marula respecting licensing of the CATS program.
Okay, we have a motion to approve the agenda as amended. Moved by Green, seconded by Collins. All in favor? Carried. Are there any declarations of interest? Councillor first.
Correspondence item 510 related to clear conflict.
Okay, duly noted. There are no ceremonial activities today, so members of council may have a motion to approve the minutes of February the 11th, 2015, moved by Pearson, seconded by Johnson. Deputy D. Johnson. All those in favor? Carried. Thank you. I have correspondence before you, communications 5-1 through 5-10. I'll go through them one at a time. On item 5-1, recommended to be received and referred to Medical Officer of Health. Moved, seconded. All in favor? Carried. 5-2. Councillor Jackson.
Mr. Mayor, pleased that the town of Georgina near Keswick is joining the City of Hamilton and others in Richmond Hill in opposing Canada Post's plan to discontinue door-to-door service. So I would move not only receipt but endorse of this to be consistent with our own position. Thanks, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you very much. Moved by yourself, seconded by Councillor Duval. All in favor? Carried. Item 5-3, recommendation to be received and referred to planning. Moved, seconded, all in favor? You can just approve them if they're recommended. So the recommendations are attached, so if you're all approved, just say aye. Item 5-4. Aye. Or carry, I'm sorry. I meant carry. Let's go with carry. 5-5. Carry. 5-6. Carry. 5-7. 5-8.
5-6, Mr. Mayor, for consideration of council.
Fair enough. Item 5-6, what is your wish? So, yeah, 5-6 is an application for a teletheater at Boomer's Sports Bar in Ward 8.
Certainly, I support it, but I mean, I think it's probably prudent to send it to staff, the appropriate committee. Can we do that tonight?
Okay.
I'm okay with it. So,
Well, if you're okay.
If you're okay with it, then just receive it.
well, you're looking for endorsement from council, right? For
Yep.
consideration.
Consideration could be that we just receive this and then take no action.
Yeah, I'm moving approval.
Moving approval, okay. It's a letter, okay. Moved, seconded, all in favor?
Carried.
Carried. Item 5-7. Is that a carry?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Item 5-8. Carried. Item 5-9.
Carried.
Carried. Item 5-10.
Carried.
Carried, thank you.
Mr. Mayor?
On item 5-10, Councillor Green recorded as opposed. Thank you. Councillor Duval, may I have a motion on the communication? 5-10, Councillor Duval recorded as opposed as well. Any others? Okay. Councillor Duval, a motion on the
Thanks, Mr.
communication,
Mayor.
please.
Yes, moved by myself, seconded by Councillor Whitehead, that Council Communications 5.1 through 5.10 be approved as follows.
Thank you. All in favor? Carried. Councillor Pizzuta, a motion to move into committee of the whole for consideration of the reports.
Mr. Mayor, Mayor Eisenberger, moved by myself and seconded by Councillor Judy Partridge that the council move into committee of the whole for consideration of the committee reports.
Thank you. All in favor? Carried. Councillor Duval, would you please take the chair and do your work?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The Planning Committee presents Report 15003 and respectfully recommends number 1.
Carried.
Number 2.
Carried.
Number 3.
Carried.
Number 4.
Carried.
Number 5.
Carried.
Number 6.
Carried.
Number 7.
Carried.
Councilor Partridge has an amendment on item 7, and if there's any discussion respecting item 7, we would need to go move into closed session under the private and confidential section of the agenda. Councilor Partridge?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Deputy Mayor, and it is moved by myself and seconded by Councillor Brenda Johnson. The amendment is for the Urban Hamilton Official Plan for post-settlement of the appeals of the Flamborough Power Centre, Inc., Flamborough South Centre, Inc., and Clapison 5-6 Properties, Inc. of the Urban Hamilton Official Plan and legal direction. And the amendment is to remove that staff recommendations in report LS 15006/PED 15031 remain confidential until council approval, and that has been deleted. Thank you.
Councilor, all those in favor?
Carried.
Any opposed? Carried. Councilor Partridge, may I have a motion to defer consideration of the Planning Committee report until after the consideration of item 10.2 in the private and confidential section of this agenda?
Yes, you may, Mr. Deputy Mayor. It is moved by myself and seconded by Councillor Brenda Johnson that consideration of Planning Committee 15-003 be deferred until after consideration of item 10.2 in the private and confidential section of the agenda. Thank you.
Yeah, that's moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Carried.
Thank you. The General Issues Committee presents report 15006 and respectfully recommends Hamilton Police Services monthly reports. Item 1. Councilor Partridge.
Yeah, Mr. Deputy Mayor, I was to read out another motion. I had the amendments that after. Sorry, thank you. Appreciate that.
So the General Issues Committee report 15-006. Item number 1.
Carried.
Item number 2.
Carried.
Item number 3.
Carried.
Item number 4.
Carried.
Item number 5.
Carried.
Item number 6.
Carried.
Item number 7.
Carried.
7, Councillor Green, and then Councillor Whitehead.
This is regarding the right to a healthy environment.
Yes.
I just wanted to, through you, Mr. Deputy Mayor, acknowledge all the residents and citizens who brought this motion forward. Truly a grassroots-led initiative connecting with a Blue Dot movement across the country, and very proud that our municipality can lead with the support of council. So I just wanted to acknowledge the residents that have taken time to come out tonight. Certainly a progressive step forward, and I thank them for all the work and effort, as I do Councillor Vanderbeek and Johnson and the rest of the staff and council who assisted me with this motion. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor. Councillor Whitehead.
Yeah, actually, I was going to thank Councillor Green for the leadership as a new councillor coming forward. Appreciating and understanding that a little more time was needed to ensure we got it right. I want to thank Councillor Johnson, who made sure that we recognize all the good things that we've established through Vision 2020 and climate. I think it was a climate report as well. There's a number of reports. This is certainly consistent in the values that has been espoused by council in a number of years, and this is reinforcing that position. So once again, the way that Councillor Green handled this particular file was stellar and exemplary, and I just want to thank him for doing so.
Thank you, Councillor. And I want to thank Councillor Green on all the work he's done in this, and I think it would be appropriate if we had a standing recording vote. We'll have a standing recording vote on item 7. All those in favor, please stand. We just put it's unanimous, or do you want us to?
It's unanimous.
Thank you. Okay, thank you. Item number 8. Councillor Green.
Sorry to be digging the glass so frequently this early in the meeting, but I do have a question regarding that correspondence. And it was brought to my attention that, and through you, Mr. Deputy Mayor, perhaps to staff, that the negotiation for extended period of time for comment, I am understanding it now that that was only provided to the city and not to residents and everybody else as a whole. Can you just, perhaps through you, Mr. Deputy Mayor, to the appropriate member of SMT, if they can comment on that correspondence, and is it only restricted to City Council's ability to comment at the Ministry of Environment, or is it open to the community at large to also put forward comments regarding the environmental impacts on the City of Hamilton?
Janice, can you answer that?
Yes, so through the Deputy Mayor, we had been looking to extend the time for commenting for the city, and this is what Port Fuels in the end capitulated and agreed to extend the time for the city to comment. So, and that information has been provided, I believe, by Port Fuels and again by the city to the ministry to confirm that that time is extended for the city to comment, so that Port Fuels has not consented to extend that time frame, which ends on February 27th, to anybody else, so that any other party, I would expect, would need to correspond with the ministry to ensure that that period was open to any other party as well.
Mr. Deputy Mayor, while that question is on the floor, I have to publicly state that I'm a little bit dismayed that they weren't able to extend same courtesies to the citizens of Hamilton, given the exact same reasons why we would, considering how close it was in proximity to the holiday season. This obviously affects residents just as much as it does our staff, and I certainly know that there are people in the community who would wish the opportunity to comment on this and to spread the opportunity to other neighbors and communities to be able to comment on this. So I'm not sure what I'm within my rights to do in terms of opposing receiving this correspondence. The correspondence is what it is, but I do want to go on the record to state that I am very disappointed that same courtesy was not extended to our residents.
Thank you, Councillor. Councillor Whitehead.
I'm just wondering, is there any possibility through our legal, through intervener status to make a request on behalf of the community to have that extended?
Through the Deputy Mayor, I don't think there's anything that would prevent us from indicating that we're looking to the ministry to ensure that that window remains open for all the community who wishes to comment. Okay, we could certainly share that request.
So can I suggest then, I think Councillor Green should move it, so that is a direct direction to our solicitor to make that a formal request with the MOE. So if I can, I'm going to hand it back. I'll second it.
Thank you, Councillor Whitehead. Councillor Green, you got a motion?
Mr. Deputy Mayor, it is so moved that I direct our legal to, through an intervener status, ask on behalf of the residents of the City and Municipality of Hamilton to also extend the commentary period in line with our request.
And that's seconded by Councillor Whitehead?
Yes.
All those in favor?
Carried.
Any against? So on item 8, as amended.
Carried.
Item 9. Mayor Eisenberger, may I have a motion on the General Issues Committee report?
Sir. Moved by myself, seconded by Councillor Partridge, that the 6th report of the General Issues Committee be adopted and the information section received.
All those in favor? Thank you. The Board of Health presents report 15-002 and respectfully recommends item number 1. Item number 2. Councillor Jackson.
So, Mr. Deputy Mayor, this is about the Seniors Oral Health Program, and I just want to commend Dr. Richardson, Dr. Tran for reallocating some dollars that became available in their budget towards the Seniors Oral Health Program at a cost of $251,000 annually. We all know seniors in our community as we age. There's needs in the whole area of teeth, of healthy teeth, of dental programs, and many seniors in our community, Mr. Deputy Mayor, are of a limited disposable income, many of them shut-ins, many of them widows, widowers, and this is an opportunity not only just through facilities that the city may own in terms of city housing, City Hamilton housing programs or units, but that, Mr. Deputy Mayor, this is also important in terms of those seniors who are living on their own, still in their own homes, trying to sustain themselves. This is an opportunity, if they're eligible, based on income and other criteria that the Department of Health is going to set up, that we're going to provide seniors oral health program to them. I think it's a wonderful, wonderful initiative. I can't commend the Board of Health unanimously for bringing this recommendation forward enough. And I think many seniors in our community who otherwise don't have benefit plans, who otherwise don't have spouses that are still working, providing additional income and benefits through their employer, this will provide an opportunity, Mr. Deputy Mayor, for those seniors to still have access to good dental and oral health programs administered by the City of Hamilton. I'd be proud to support it at the appropriate time. Thanks, Mr. Deputy Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Jackson. Councillor Partridge.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Deputy Mayor. And I, too, was very, very pleased to see this program come forward. And I want to thank Dr. Tran and Dr. Richardson and the public health staff that worked so hard on finding the dollars and being able to bring it to us so we could approve it and look to direct it to those seniors in our community who are at risk, who need it. I will be meeting with Dr. Tran as well to look at just how can we outreach into the rural area for our seniors who are living in, many of them in isolation. I can only speak for Flamborough, but I know that we have increased poverty levels and a great deal of those poverty levels is hitting our seniors out there. And so I'm just very pleased to support this and happy to see it come forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Partridge. Appreciate the comments. On item 2. Carried. Mayor Eisenberger, may I have a motion on the report?
Certainly, sir. Moved by myself, seconded by Councillor Green, that the second report of the Board of Health be adopted and information section received.
Mover and seconder, all those in favor? Public Works Committee presents Special Meeting Report 15-002 and respectfully recommends item 1. Councillor Marilla, may I have a motion on the report?
You may indeed, and it's moved by myself, seconded by Councillor Collins, that the report be approved or received.
Thank you. All those in favor? Emergency Community Services Committee presents Report 15-002 and respectfully recommends item 1. Item 2. Item 3. Item 4. Item 5. Item 6. Item 7. Councillor Whitehead.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I actually obviously supported this at Emergency Services, but I want to be consistent in the budget process. This is, although it is coming from reserve, it does have a financial operational impact. And we haven't dealt with all the operational budgets, and we know that we're looking at some significant pressures. I don't know if I've always been the one that argued that we shouldn't be ad hoc, take things out of the process. Everything should be in the process. We look at it collectively and come up with a good decision. And so to deal with this outside the budget process, I don't think would be consistent with where I've stood on these kinds of issues. So I would suggest that, I'm going to test the waters, I would suggest that we forward this matter into the budget process.
Talking on item 7.
7-4.
Pardon me?
7-4, yes. 7, sorry, item 7.
So you're asking as a motion?
To the budget process.
You have a seconder? Councillor Marilla.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Deputy Mayor, and I appreciate the intent. And as we all know, that 50% of what we tax for.
First of all, excuse me, Councillor, but we need a seconder. Councillor Connolly, you seconded it? Okay, we have a seconder.
Okay, now we have a seconder.
Councillor Marilla, sorry.
Okay, so let's just put this in perspective. And as we know, 50% of what we tax for, we have no control over. This is a perfect example of the scenario that we're faced with. So through you to whoever would like to answer this. Joanne's not here. She's still in bereavement, family loss. But could we just elaborate on our legislative responsibilities at this point with respect to this particular issue?
Absolutely.
And I'll direct this question to Vicky, who's here in replace due to Joanne not being here.
Okay. Can you help us out here?
Through the chair, this report is asking to retain 30 additional Ontario Works staff to be funded through 2 reserves, and I'll speak to that in a minute, until April 2016. When the caseloads started to rise in 2009, I can give you the specifics, we were at below 10,000 in terms of caseload, and we went up to, by 2011, 14,166. And we currently have dropped down to about 12,456. So basically, we got approval to add these positions to respond to the increase in caseload over the past several years. Now, what's happened now is that although the caseload has dropped by approximately 10% of the highest that it was, we are also being challenged with the implementation of the SAMS program, which I believe you've heard about, which has put a significant amount of additional pressure on these staff. There's another information report we provided in this as well, that there's a lot of new changes and expectations from the province in terms of the Ontario Works program, with an increased focus on helping people get jobs, streamlining the services. And so we are embarking on an organizational review as well of the entire Ontario Works program to look at processes to see if there's ways we can have a more efficient, sort of leaner approach. So the combination of reviewing the service we currently provide and the increased demands as a result of the SAMs, we are asking for additional funding for these programs through 2 reserves that have been dedicated for Ontario Works and caseload fluctuations until April 2016.
Okay, so in essence, through you, Mr. Deputy Mayor, Vicki, at this point, are we even in a position to question this allocation legislatively? Are we not obligated to pursue this accordingly outside of the budget process?
Through you to the chair, given still the current caseload and the challenge, and I'm sorry if I'm not answering this properly, we would think that this would be the appropriate way to carry on so that we can meet the requirements that are outlined to us through the legislation in terms of Ontario Works. Did I answer your question?
Yes, it does. So in essence, through you, Mr. Chairman, or Deputy Mayor, it's not discretionary in nature. It's mandatory. We really have no leverage. Hence, this is an issue of we must do it as opposed to we choose to do it.
Thank you, Councillor. Any other questions on the motion? Councillor Whitehead?
And I want to make it clear that I'm supportive of what staff is asking. I'm just concerned about being inconsistent with the approach to the budget process. And the other thing I need to be clear is these are 30 individuals that are surplus to the need. The argument is that we still have issues with SAMs, no question about that. I'm not sure how long that hangover is going to continue, but those 30 individuals were brought in at a time when we were peaking out on social services. There's no question in the last 3 years there's been a drop in the need and the demand. I believe that the staff has justified the expenditure, don't get me wrong. Again, it was just a process issue, and that's why I was testing the will of council.
Thank you. Councillor Green?
Mr. Deputy Mayor, through you to the members of council, I had the privilege of taking the tour with the chair of Community Emergency Services. Know the situation that people are under, and also I'm very well aware of the fact that it doesn't appear to be letting up anytime soon, and so for that reason alone, I think it's something that we have to look at given the extenuating circumstances. Thank you.
Councillor Ferguson, for you.
Yeah, I'm the last guy that wants to spend money, but this is critical, and it's not our staff's fault. It's his software system that didn't work. And so I think the obvious question that jumps off the page of you to read this is no question we have to do it because we're overpaying and underpaying because there's gone from 2 clicks to 20 clicks or 40 clicks. So through you two, I guess I'll start with you, Chris, and maybe you can deflect it to Mike or wherever you want. Why can we not look to the province for recovery of this? It's their software system that's imploding. And so why are we sucking this up? Why aren't we putting a claim against the province for installing an inferior software system that don't work?
Good question, Councillor.
To Deputy Mayor, as Vicki just pointed out, we're documenting all of this with, I think, that purpose in mind. there's a lot that can be said about the SAMS program and the lack of proper change management procedure being utilized to introduce the program and all the headaches that it's caused. So we have every intent of trying to recoup the additional costs that we're incurring as a result. It doesn't guarantee us that they will, but as Vicky points out, we are tracking that and we will pass that information on to them.
So then, through you, Mr. Chairman, to Chris, should we not move an amendment directing staff to do that?
Through Deputy Mayor, I don't see any problem in doing that because, I mean, again, we didn't invite the problem. We're just trying to deal with it.
Allow me to make a motion now to amendment?
Just point of order. Last council, we did it as a result of the committee moving that motion, and it did come to council, and council unanimously supported that motion. So it's already in place.
Okay, I don't recall that, and if you did, we did, and I just want to make sure that, what was that, Councilor? I'm not on community emergency services is the problem.
Okay, but
I've never missed a council meeting, but, so if it's done, that's great, thank you.
okay, thank you. So, Councilor Farr.
I just want to say, well, I appreciate where Councilor Whitehead, the mover of the motion, is coming from. There are exceptions. This is an exceptional circumstance. I think we also went outside the general policy or procedure with the building department a couple of years ago under great duress and needing staff, and funded again from reserves in that case too. So while I appreciate the process, and that's ultimately what this motion is all about, I'm certainly going to stay consistent with where I was at a committee the other day. Thanks.
Thank you, Councillor. So on Councillor Whitehead's motion, seconded by Councillor Connolly, to move this to the budget process. All those in favor?
Mr. Chair, Mr. Chair, I've heard the discussion around the table. I'm prepared, although it's in the council's, I might understand it's in the council's control now, but I'm ownership. But I am prepared to withdraw the motion. Again, I was testing the waters.
Well, we have Councillor Connolly that seconded. Are you willing to withdraw?
I think we need, Mr. Point of Order, I think we need to check with the clerk. Can he do that, or do we just need to vote it down through you?
Rose?
Yeah. Sorry, Mr. Deputy Mayor, are we speaking about item number 7?
Yes, so we had a motion by Councillor Whitehead seconded to defer it. Now they want to withdraw the motion.
Yeah, that's fine. You can,
That's
with
fine.
the consent of council, because it was moved and seconded.
So both parties are willing to withdraw, and we don't need to vote?
No, all of council would have to agree because it was moved and seconded.
So we have a withdrawal. So all those in favor to withdraw? Okay. And on item 7 itself. Thank you. Item 8. Item 9. Councillor Jackson?
So, Mr. Deputy Mayor, give Councillor Marula a lot of credit on this. About 10 years ago, he thought the need was in place for an affordable transit pass program for many of the users of our HSR system who simply couldn't afford to pay for monthly passes or the adult fare. And it was something that the council of the day unanimously supported as an interim measure. Many of the people who took advantage of this program, Mr. Deputy Mayor, were ones who simply work in part-time, working a couple of jobs just to try to make ends meet, single parents with a couple of kids at home, otherwise would have been on the social assistance programs. They wanted to get off that, but they needed some way to get to their workplace, to school, to better themselves. And this council, about 10 years ago, said, let's put an affordable transit pass program in place for those that would qualify. City staff, from General Manager Joanne Priel on down, were very supportive. And here we are today now recommending that it be a permanent program. The uptake has been good, and it sends out a positive signal, not just ridership from the HSR standpoint, a matter and an issue that we'll be dealing with in greater detail over the next month or two through the budget and through the transit plan, but especially for those that want to better their lives, but just need affordable bus passes in order to do that. So I'm really proud of this, and I was proud to support it 10, 11 years ago when Councillor Marula brought it forward. Thanks, Mr. Deputy Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor. Councillor Whitehead?
Yeah, I want to reiterate the fact that Councillor Marula, one of our transit activists, was very supportive in coming forward with this timely program. It was pretty clear that there was a void that needed to be filled. And Councillor Marula understood that need and certainly had the support of council. And I remember when it came to agenda review, I didn't respond. It's timely. Let's get it going. So I want to thank, in all sincerity, Councillor Marula's foresight and good work on this file. Thank you.
Thank you. On item 9.
Carried.
Item 10. Councillor Whitehead, may I have a motion on the report?
Certainly can. Moved by myself, second by Councillor DeVell, that the second report of the Emergency and Community Services Committee be adopted and the information section received.
All those in favor? Carried. Carried. Mr. Mayor, it's back to you.
So we are on motions, and Councillor Whitehead, you have a motion respecting tobogganing, feasibility of designating an area. Are you going to put your motion, sir?
I sure plan to do that. Thank you.
Good.
It's all downhill from here.
Oh, whoa. Slip sliding away. Let's slide into the motion quickly.
I'm just looking for the... There we go. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Moved by myself, second by Councillor Sam Marula, feasibility of designating toboggan areas within the City of Hamilton, whereas tobogganing is considered a Canadian recreational activity, whereas legal precedence has been established by the courts on tobogganing litigation, whereas the City of Hamilton banned tobogganing on the city property by bylaw and still remained liable, resulting in a large damage award, whereas municipalities with the province of Ontario have banned, restricted, and closed hills to toboggan through bylaw and posted notices, it remains unclear if the restrictions and hill closures mitigate a municipality from legal proceedings. Now therefore be it resolved that the manager of risk management coordinate, together with the city solicitor, staff of public works department, and other affected departments, a review of the options available to the city in respect of tobogganing on the city property, including the feasibility of the City of Hamilton designating tobogganing areas within the community, and report back to the General Issues Committee. If I can speak to it?
Okay, thank you. Go ahead.
I have a letter here, if I can find it. It is a letter, Mr. Chair, from a 10-year-old child. And the letter says, Mr. Whitehead, all I asked from Santa Claus for Christmas was a toboggan, so I can go sliding. Now I have a toboggan, but my dad said I cannot use it in the City of Hamilton. Please, Mr. Whitehead, allow me to use my toboggan in the City of Hamilton. Signed, John. I won't give the last
just
name
about says it all right there, doesn't it?
It does, Mr. Chair. I mean, I think that tobogganing, when you think about it, it was probably taking place long before the wheel was even invented. The reality is that it's been a great pastime in certainly in Canada, in the Great White North. It is a pastime that many kids look forward to, and is becoming much more of a family-oriented event in today's society. I can tell you, Mr. Chair, with no question, I drive by every day the reservoir on the mountain, and on a good snow day, you will have literally hundreds of families. And I'm not just talking children. There's parents with their hot chocolate, there's gatherings, it's a very diverse group. There's Polish groups and Asian groups, and it's very ethnic, very, very, very multi-national. It's incredible to see the positive environment by something so simple and something that is so inexpensive for people to do. And fun, of course. So inexpensive to do and fun. And it is a sad state of affairs when we get into this nanny state and start passing bylaws based on risk and liability. There has been a case, Mr. Chair. In fact, it's kind of funny because I post off Ottawa Start is about tobogganing, and it gives you all the pointers on safety tips for tobogganing. Wear a helmet, make sure you look at the location, etc. There's another, our legal department has provided me a case in Leamington where, again, an individual at a park in Leamington went down and got hurt, was hospitalized, and sued. And in that court ruling, the city was found without fault. 100% of the fault was on the tobogganer, because when you toboggan, you're taking your own risk. And they need to control the toboggan is basically the ruling of the, and I'm just paraphrasing the judge in that particular case. Mr. Chair, there's also a wonderful woman, a great singer that I would suggest if you ever get a chance, go catch her in concert or at your local drinking establishment, Laura Cole. And Laura Cole has taken upon herself to write a nice little jingle about this whole exercise. You can't toboggan in the hammer anymore is the title of the song. If you haven't seen it, it is on YouTube. I don't know if Laura's here. She was going to try and join us this evening. I want to thank her because it is a real cute take about what is taking place. You see clips where she's gone to the police station with her toboggan to find out what the rules are, and etc. I was really amused by it. It really speaks to where society is going. And it is unfortunate, but the window and opportunity, a window and opportunity to work with staff and find how we, as a collective, as a council, can make it happen on behalf of all those young boys and girls in our community. So thank you for listening.
Thank you, Councillor. Councillor Jackson. Okay, Councillor Merlin.
Well, thank you, Councillor Jackson. Let me start off by saying that I support what's before us. Frankly, I support tobogganing in Hamilton, and I toboggan quite regularly, even though the bylaw exists. And although that's the reality of the issue. And that really just puts it all in perspective, is that the reason why the bylaw exists is not that we're preventing people from tobogganing. Back in the 1970s, we had a sanctioned hill, Ashford Oak. And I guess we're just not really lucky when it comes to providing an environment conducive to tobogganing, because in the 70s, we had a sanctioned hill. Somebody went down the hill, sued the city after being injured, tobogganing, and we lost. And the courts decided that they were going to side with an adult, a moronic adult, who decided that they wanted to sue the city after willingly going down a hill, believing that it wasn't potentially dangerous. So we created a bylaw in the 1970s, and what people don't realize, it's been there that long. So lo and behold, we have this bylaw in place, and almost 40 years later, we have another moron, an adult, who decides that, and a lawyer to boot, who decides that he's going to go down a hill in a toboggan and not potentially think that he's at risk of injuring himself going down this hill. And in doing so, he gets injured. So now he turns around and sues the city, and then we have another court and another judge siding with the moron. So we pay out over $1 million in lawsuits, and I remember the discussions. We're being steadfast, and we're going to fight this. This is, how dare they sue us? This is nonsense. Let's bring it right to the Supreme Court. The bottom line is we lost. So really, who's at fault here are the courts. And this is another form of downloading. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it, except this time it's coming from the courts rather than the federal or provincial government. So, and now we're now in a position where we have to defend ourselves for protecting the taxpayers from themselves. That's exactly what we're faced with. So I have no problem supporting what's before us, and I've defended the bylaw based on those principles. I continue to defend that bylaw because at the end of the day, if we don't have that bylaw, and the second moron that went down the hill as an adult who's a lawyer said that we didn't clearly illustrate that there was signage that potentially he might get hurt. Anyone that goes down a hill on a slide vertically on snow, traveling at any rate of speed, where there are trees, where it's not sanctioned, there's a potential to be harmed. So please, toboggan all you want, just don't sue the city afterwards. And that's what I've been doing, and that's what I've been telling everybody. And the only reason the bylaw exists is to protect the taxpayers from those that are exploiting other taxpayers for their own benefit. And that's the only reason. Now, what's before us here today is an opportunity to create another sanctioned hill as we had back in the 1970s. I'm just hoping that there are means of mitigating whatever led to that litigation that ultimately cost the taxpayers over $1 million. And so, hence my strong support. I thank Councillor Whitehead for bringing this forward. But again, I don't discourage anyone in the city to sue us. I don't discourage anyone. Don't discourage anyone to toboggan. But please don't sue us if you get hurt. And we won't charge you unless, of course, you're tobogganing in the middle of traffic, and we'll only charge you after we warn you. Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor.
Thanks, Mr. Mayor, and I want to thank Councillor Whitehead for bringing this forward. And his motion talks about the feasibility of the City of Hamilton designating areas. And I was talking with our lawyer, Janice, recently. There was some different example, but I think in Haldimand County, where a judge in a court of appeal ruled in favor of the Haldimand County. That was a situation where a youth had fallen off a tree in a public park, and the judges basically, I'm paraphrasing, but the judges basically had said that the youth had used that park many times, had used that tree many times, and this one time fell, hurt himself, wanted to sue, and in that case, they got a favorable, the county got a favorable ruling in their defense. So I'm strongly supportive of this, Mr. Mayor, if we can make this happen in a prudent way. Mr. Mayor, forgive me, I'm going to just read out 3 quick letters. I got 27 from Miss Amanda Tessero's Class 3A at Richard Beasley Elementary School. Got 27 letters. I'm going to read out 3 of them that I picked out. Promised the class that I would acknowledge and thank them for taking the time to write letters, personal notes, to my office. And one of them here is from Duha, D-H-U-H-A. Mr. Jackson, we love tobogganing. If you ask me, I think tobogganing should be allowed in Hamilton at least. I think tobogganing is more fun than snowboarding because I watched lots of videos about snowboarding and lots of them were full of horrific injuries. If you want something to be banned, I think it should be snowboarding, not tobogganing. Every time I go tobogganing, I see lots of people or kids tobogganing, have so much fun. The only thing I can say is that you guys can make rules about it, but please don't ban it. That was from her. From Jason, he wrote the rules about tobogganing, Mr. Jackson. I think it is an outrage because I love it and it's so much fun. It's awesome. And when we go tobogganing all the time, I hit my head one time and I injured it. But I believe it is up to each individual person, Mr. Jackson, in spite of that. And the government should not waste their money by suing and causing a huge commotion over nothing, Mr. Jackson. People should be allowed to go tobogganing because they could go with their adults, parents, and guardians supervising to make sure nothing bad happens or that anyone gets seriously hurt. And from Daniel, Mr. Jackson, I think tobogganing shouldn't be banned because it's so much fun to go down a big hill with your sled. And besides, on a snowy day, what better way than wasting your time reading? You can go outside and go on the big hill, take your sled, and do things that otherwise you'd have to do homework. So I think we should not ban tobogganing. So, Mr. Mayor, I want to end on that positive note. I think there's an appetite in our community amongst families for outdoor activity, and at a time when we're trying to attack the obesity problem in our community that our public health officials tell us is growing, here's a wonderful opportunity at a time of the year to let kids and families get outdoors and use our facilities and the city-owned parks and hills that they can access, enjoy in a responsible way. So I think this is the right move going forward. I wholeheartedly support it. Thanks, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you very much. Councillor Duval.
Thanks, Mr. Mayor. And I want to thank Councillor Whitehead for bringing this forward because, when it hit the media, it certainly did cause some chaos out there. There's Hamilton was the only city, but there's many other communities and municipalities that did the same, and that was to protect the liability of the taxpayer. But when you really look at it, this is just common sense. We got to be proactive and not just say, we can't toboggan no more for our little children. There's nothing worse in the world than we're going to have bylaw officers go chase little 5-year-olds and 6-year-olds and give them a ticket for tobogganing. We have to find a way to fix this, just like we did a few years ago when we weren't allowed to play hockey in our ice rinks, and we fixed that. I'm sure we can do this, and I fully support it. And I know many of my residents in Ward 7 are asking, what the heck are we doing? But it was just to protect the liability, but we are making a proactive move, and we got to allow them to happen. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor. Councillor Pearson.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and certainly I will support this apprehensively, but I certainly understand and don't take away from, believe me, I tobogganed when I was a youngster in the Coots Paradise area. I mean, my whole days from sunrise to sunset were spent tobogganing, and I loved it. But I never would have ever thought, and several friends and neighbors, the children got injured. And you know what? They took it in stride. I had my neighbor's granddaughter that we were best friends. Her daughter lost a tooth tobogganing. You know, and nobody ever would have dreamt in those days of saying, it is really sad that we've come to this state. So whatever can be done as far as legal to protect and indemnify the city. I mean, it's unfortunate these two most recent lawsuits that Councillor Marullo so eloquently mentioned cost us close to, if not past $1 million. I also want to mention, Councillor Jackson raised it, just reading recently, the young boy that did get injured in that community, and the family did sue falling out of a tree. And it was good to read that a judge actually had the common sense to say, you know what, you were climbing the tree, that's your issue. Be beyond what injuries he sustained, which is very unfortunate, but the municipality shouldn't be on the hook for covering this. So I will very apprehensively support this. I'm concerned also of how, and certainly leave this to staff and risk management, how we would ever make sure that if we declare specific areas, that any other areas we make sure are cleared off. I think it's going to have to be a sort of a blanket allowing them type process, because we have them at Battlefield Park. I know even landscaping has been put in over the years to create the 1800s landscaping and to actually deter kids and adults from tobogganing on the hills in front of Battlefield House. So I still, as I say, I will apprehensively support this going forward, and I don't want to take activity away from our young people as has been stated by others. Thank you.
Councillor Duvall, could you take the chair for a moment, please? And
absolutely.
Let me add my voice to supporting this and congratulating Councillor Whitehead. I think he speaks on behalf of all of us when we say you can't take the fun out of winter, so no one wants to do that. I will caution, though, that you know, we do have a duty to make sure that whatever we designate as a tobogganing area, that it's safe. I think that's a fundamental issue that we're going to have to deal with when we do this. That we can't sanction areas that are, you know, potentially unsafe and then have someone injure themselves. Then we're going to be in the same mix that we're in now. So whatever we do designate, and I think we all want to make sure that there are safe areas where people can toboggan and kids can toboggan, that we do have that fundamental responsibility, or else lawsuits will continue to come our way. And unfortunately, in a perfect world, I would love it that people didn't sue the city, but we can't stop anyone from suing us for whatever reason. So that's a barrier that we're just going to have to cross, I think, and take that on as a responsibility that we can't shut down our entire city. And you know what? And with all due respect to our risk management folks, if we were to listen to them entirely, then we probably wouldn't get up in the morning, quite frankly. So you know what? There's risk, and then there's also reward, and making sure that we're sensible and reasonable in terms of how we manage that risk. So I support this wholeheartedly. I thank them for bringing it forward. Let's put the fun back into winter, and let's make sure, though, that when we do it in a way that does not trigger future lawsuits or any future harm to anyone, quite frankly. So, and I'm sure we can do that. So I actually, last point, I went and spied some of my former tobogganing haunts. And Princess Point was one of them. You can't possibly toboggan there anymore because it's completely grown over. So it's Hazard City for sure. Shidok looks terrific, actually. It always has been. And the Res has always been a popular spot up on the West Mountain, up on the West Dale, and in Green Hill, actually, are some of the old haunts that I used to toboggan on. Sorry? Any place along the escarpment. So I would say there are places that we can turn to that could provide us an opportunity to create a safe environment for sure. So thank you for doing this, and I'll take the chair back.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and we have Councillor Whitehead on.
Right, Councillor Whitehead, second time.
Just to wrap up, and I really thank everyone for their comments. Just to remind my colleagues, and especially the new ones, Janice could actually maybe speak to it, but we did pass a resolution asking to AMO and the province of Ontario that there's the 1% rule. So if somebody sues the city and we're only 1% responsible, we end up 9 times out of 10 taking 100% of the cost. If it's ruled against the city, then 1% fault, we end up in many cases paying 100% of the cost. In fact, the ruling I was looking at in the citing, the judge made it clear that the plaintiff was 100% responsible, because if it's not ruled that way, then the city's on the hook. And we have asked the province of Ontario and AMO to look at changing that liability. So, Janice, do you have any further comments on that? Through the chair.
Through the chair, no, just to confirm that, yes, the city is on record as requesting that we support AMO's request to have the ministry look at the Negligence Act to amend that 1% rule to improve the municipality's chances of escaping liability where, in fact, we're not really at fault at all.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So we have a motion on the floor, moved and seconded. All in favor? Carried. Want a standing recorded vote? Okay, all in favor, please rise. Okay, I would say that's unanimous. Okay, thank you. On item 7.2, Councillor Marula, feasibility of adjusting HSR fares.
Thanks, Mr. Mayor. I'll defer that. I won't speak to that one today. I'll defer that to the next meeting as well.
Okay, thank you. On item 7.3,
on this particular one, motion, it's moved by myself, seconded by Councillor Collins. Whereas transportation and public transit continue to be significant and important public policy matters, and whereas public transit, known as HSR, in the City of Hamilton remains a priority for Council, and whereas public transit is currently apportioned to residents based on geographic area and service levels, and where Council has stated on numerous occasions it supports a system-wide approach to public transit which includes enhancing service levels, therefore be it resolved that the City staff report back as part of the 2016 budget process respecting the feasibility and impacts adding HSR to the general levy, and B, that as part of this report, City staff review the feasibility and impacts of alternative transit area rating models, including the possibility of a special area levy for the former City of Hamilton, and that the forthcoming report respecting the feasibility and impacts of adding HSR to the general levy align with the overall city transit strategy. Now, Mr. Mayor, with this particular issue, it's important I just want to highlight a couple of things because it's important before we deal with this in a few weeks that we discuss a couple of the issues. And first and foremost, area rating as we know it is an important dealt with, not only now, but also for future reference. We're in a situation where we're the only municipality in Ontario at present that doesn't have a system in place with respect to a rural-urban mix or understanding of how those taxes are aligned. So as a direct result, what we're looking at is we have a situation where, with all due respect, regardless of personalities or individuals, we have members of council who are voting on an issue that have no vested interest whatsoever on any particular item. So if there were an agricultural issue, as an example, and it had no effect whatsoever on my residents, I would feel it would be not in my best interest nor the best interest of that individual in the rural area to vote on it, particularly because it doesn't affect my residents financially. However, we've had decisions made around this table where people have no vested interest, but also are creating obstacles for where perhaps those that do have vested interest in moving forward for the betterment of that system. I find that somewhat questionable, one that I will be ultimately asking the province to review through a legislative review, because it's unheard of to have any governing body have people vote on an issue that they have no vested interest in. It really is a sad state of affairs, and frankly is undemocratic beyond comprehension how we have that system here in Hamilton. So having said that, we will be dealing with an ambulance service soon with area rating, and I know that they're asking for an enhancement. And I'm, for one, I support those enhancements throughout the city, but I'm not the one who created the area rating scenario. I can't have the poorest people in this city subsidize the wealthiest people in the city in providing services. So because of that, it's not a matter of personality, it's a matter of principle. And the fact that we're the only city in the entire province that has this system is truly a sad state of affairs. The Ottawa, for example, has a rural-urban split, and that's what I'm looking for. So if people are saying wrong but are willing to support that this evening, I'll move that accordingly, and I expect them to second it accordingly. So, in essence, what we have is an issue we need to deal with sooner rather than later. And I will be formally bringing this forward because I think it's important to understand that it's a matter of equality. And I'm here to support my suburban colleagues on everything. I don't think any one of them can actually say I've actually worked against any of their initiatives. If anything, I've supported most of their initiatives. And all we're asking for in exchange is the same type of respect. But I would never, and I can recall bringing forward a motion with respect to pesticides. And suddenly this pesticide issue, which is really a citywide global environmental issue, suddenly was deduced down to an agricultural issue because it affected farmers. I didn't make any stink about it because, even though I should have, because in essence, it was more than an agricultural issue. It was a city issue. It was an environmental issue. And this is no different, because if we're going to be one city, and we're going to claim to be one city, an attack on one area of the city, whether it be Ancaster, Flamborough, Dundas, or Pembroke, is an attack on all of us. But also, if one area needs help, I'll be there for them. But we have to expect that in return. We need to put the past where it belongs, and that's in the past. And no one's asking that this be implemented overnight. What we're asking for is a report to have a discussion about this issue, and that discussion needs to develop sooner rather than later. Anything short of that would just feed into the misinformation, because the reason why taxes are going up in suburbs has nothing to do with the city of Hamilton and everything to do with market value assessment. It has everything to do with legislative downloading. When you combine downloading and market value assessment, the reason why taxes are so high is because of those reasons, not because of the old city of Hamilton. If anything, all of the infrastructure developed in the suburbs was paid for by the old city of Hamilton. 80% of it was. And that's a fact. You can't dispute the facts. So the reality is, when the rubber hits the ground, we have in Hamilton, the average resident's paying $265 a year for buses, for public transit. In Stony Creek, $78. In Lancaster, $74. In Dundas, $64. In Glanbrook, $117. And in Flamborough, $42. That's not one city. That is a dog's breakfast of taxation, which is unacceptable, unconscionable, and we need to deal with it because we're the only city in the entire democratic hemisphere in Ontario that treats their citizens in an inequitable manner. And if this were reversed, people would be asking for de-amalgamation and separatists and this and that, and how we're screwing over the suburbs again. Well, you know what? Right now, the old city of Hamilton proper is being screwed over, and we're asking for some respect and fairness, and I will be bringing this forward to the next council meeting. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'll defer to court.
I was speechless. What's that? Yeah, you need to put the deferral forward, please. Yeah. Moved and seconded. All those willing to defer, please indicate. No, this is a deferral, no direction. All those opposed? Hearing none. Thank you very much. On item 7.4, Councillor Duvall.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, motion's in front of you. It's moved by myself, seconded by Councillor Jackson. And this has to do with the Easter egg hunts, facility rental fees, that all city facility rental fees for Easter egg hunts be waived for 2015. And if I can just talk on this a little bit, Mr. Mayor. Yep, go ahead. This is the same motion that we brought last year when many of our people in the community are having Easter egg hunts in the city parks. And the neighborhoods are all getting together, and we're asking them for a substantial fee for something of 15 or 20 minutes. And I just think it's unnecessary. Now, they still must apply to go in and use the facility, but the fee is waived. So I'm hoping that council will unanimously approve this.
Thank you. Councillor Pearson.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor, and thank you, Councillor Duvall, for bringing this forward. I know I had an event in Ward 10, and unfortunately, because of the implementation of the fee last year, they ended up removing their the participation that they had from a city facility and actually went onto a school board facility. So they were still able to accommodate, but it is very frustrating, and you're right, it's a couple of minutes, Mr. Mayor, if you go out to these events, not even more than 5 minutes. Those kids can clean up that field in no time. So I certainly will support this. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Farr.
I want to thank Councillor Duvall again this year for standing up for the kids. I'm going to support this with or without a letter from little Johnny. And I really appreciate it, but really it speaks to, for me especially, I got to tell you, we talk about it at the neighborhood meetings all the time. For this and other smaller events, I understand larger events, you got to go through seat and do all of this and that. But we have a mandate here as a body to get our citizens engaged and grow our neighborhoods. We supported unanimously the Neighborhood Development Office and that $2 million budget, and we support all those action plans as they come in. And all these folks that are going above and beyond and recruiting their neighbors and getting involved at the community level are every one of them that I speak to, when they talk about having a yoga in the park or a movie night, we're making it through our bureaucracy a very difficult process for them to fulfill our objectives of communities getting together. So this is one small example where we're trying to make it work, and I really like to talk to Councillor Duvall about maybe trying to look at other smaller events in community parks where we can make it less cumbersome. But this is a great start, and I'm certainly very supportive. And I appreciate as well Mr. Eklund's kind contributions annually with I guess it's hundreds of thousands of eggs now to make this a great, unique Hamilton event possible.
Thank you. It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor? Carried. Carried. Thank you. Councillor Duvall, if you could take the chair for a moment, please. I have a motion before you. I can read all the whereases, but I'll paraphrase. This is a challenge from Mayor Nenshi in Calgary, and it has been a challenge that's been ongoing for a number of years relative to poetry and the written word and literacy in our city. And they've challenged us to provide a competitive process that would allow submissions of poems and then to have a reading of a winning poem sometime in April of this year. I thought it was a worthy challenge to sign on to. I think it's a great opportunity for us to herald not only the literacy issues, but the written word in all of its forms are so important in our city, and we have many programs throughout our city that many volunteer teachers and volunteers are actually helping kids with literacy to help improve their lives and literacy in the future. And this is certainly one aspect of that I think leads to a positive message that we take culture and arts and poem and poetry and literacy very seriously. So I thought it was a great program. I think it's going to be a fun opportunity to get some of our poetry advocates in the community engaged. And then would be an equally fun opportunity to have them come here and share that poem with us when they create it. So it's moved by myself, seconded by Councillor Johnson, that we enact that the City of Hamilton participate in the 2015 Mayor's Poetry City Challenge, inviting the author of the selected poem to attend and read their poem at the opening of April 22nd Council meeting during the National Poetry Month. So moved by myself, seconded by Councillor Johnson. Would you like to add to that?
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor, and it is an honor to support your motion and Mayor Nenshi's movement. There are lots of reasons why we should be having poetry in this building. For starters, it's beautiful. For another reason, it brings people together. We always begin our council meetings with a prayer, which to me is appropriate given the rich, diverse splendor of all the religious communities in our area. In including poetry, we include what might be called a secular form of worship or a secular form of spirituality for the many in our community who don't have a particular specific religious affiliation. And that too is a good argument for poetry in our council chamber. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Any further comments? Councillor Conley? Oh, sorry.
I would, the chair.
Okay, you got it.
Councillor Conley?
I'd just like to thank the mayor for volunteering to write a poem for us. I'm looking forward to hearing what he has to say.
I read it.
Being no other speakers, you have a motion in front of you. All those in favor? Any? Councillor Green? Oh, sorry.
Mr. Acting Mayor, or Acting Chair, just through you to council, I think, you look to our community and you see all the fantastic examples of art and expression, and the one that comes to mind for me is the Hamilton Youth Poetry Slam. It's a group that takes on Youth Mental Health Week here at council. They've been phenomenal, internationally acclaimed, and so, I would like to formally ask that they be considered as one of the presenting poets, because I think they do some phenomenal work coming out of the youth. It's absolutely inspiring to see.
Very good.
So thank you. So you just making that as a comment to the mayor?
Just a comment.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions? All those in favor?
Carried.
Any against? Carried. Chair's back to you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor. Any other notices of motion? Hearing not. Sorry? Your next guy.
Notice. It's moved by myself and just moved by myself because it's notice. Whereas the City of Hamilton regulates and licenses dogs and pot-bellied pigs under the Responsible Animal Ownership Bylaw, and whereas the licensing of dogs creates responsible pet ownership, provides food, shelter, Medicare for lost pets, helps return lost pets to their owners, and helps support adoption programs, and whereas the licensing of cats in such cities as Calgary, Toronto, London have seen a reduction in stray cats, impound and euthanasia rates, and an increase in adoptions within their respective cities, and whereas a cat licensing program would create sustainable revenue for programs such as low-cost spay-neutering program, reduce the price of the overpopulation of cats, and support a trap, neuter, release program for feral cats, therefore be it resolved, the staff examine the feasibility of implementing a licensing cat program within Bylaw 12031 that would create responsible cat ownership while at the same time provide the resources to strategically manage the cat overpopulation in the City of Hamilton.
Okay, thank you. That's a notice of motion duly placed, and we will deal with that at some future council meeting. So members council, just before we get the statements by members, we have item 10.1, which is a selection committee report. Unless there are questions, we can approve it. If there are questions, we can go into camera and deal with that. I'll move it. Moved by yourself, seconded by Councillor Whitehead. All in favor? Carried. Thank you. So then we are at statements by members. We will start with Councillor Aidan Johnson, and we will run around the horseshoe this